Up and running. Looks like it. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit more boring to follow along with. It's just, so far, it's just debugging. The primary issue I'm still dealing with is inside of this scene where I'm trying to improve some of the design tools. One of the things that I did is I added a character up and character down capability. So when some things happen, I want to highlight an object that I'm about to interact with before I actually use it. So right now, that is not working. Um, and the reason why so far makes no sense. So I have to start looking through and digging through this code, trying to find out exactly what's going on here. So the problem that I'm facing over here is that character up never gets a value at all. Never gets a value. It does apparently get set. Wait a second. Let's just check to make sure I don't have any like read-only flags or anything like that. I do not. Okay. What is that? Control minus. Okay. Now I do get, so I set it over here and character was up does get set. Was up will get set, but character up will not. Now, there is something else going on here. So character up also gets set down here at the point where character down gets set. So this is when character, but here's the thing. So I'm in an if statement. At this point up here, I'm inside of an if statement, and then I'm doing else if statements. And so my understanding is that this one should never get executed. This one should not get executed if this one was executed. So if the current character is 0 and the last character is not 0, am I doing this in the wrong spot? No. Okay, current character is 0. So we have released. Is this the right one? We get the current character, we set it to the current character. Yes. So if the current character is 0 and our last character was not 0, then that means that we have released a character. So we've released that key and it should be up at this point. So last character is the event, effectively the event that I wanted to fire. So character up. We now set character up to what the last character was, which was not 0. And also same with was up. Okay. None of these other ones should execute. The only other thing that I can think to do is to put a debug trail in. So I'm going to say string trail equals 1. So a trail is basically a string that I build up throughout the function and debug log it at the end of the function. That way I can store different sets of characteristics and state as it travels along. Now, this is kind of important when I'm debugging a UX circumstance, because in many of the UX cases, I'm having trouble figuring out the exact point of when it's interacting or gathering this data. So what it seems like is happening is that the value is getting set, but then getting reset down here. But then it's still getting set to last character, so it should still be what I would have wanted anyway. Now, okay, let's double check another step farther. So it's character up that I want. Character up is what I'm going to check. Character up does get set down here, but that's in an else if statement that should not have been fired. This does make me want to check a really dumb characteristic of else if that I have made an assumption on that maybe is not the case. I'm going to create a new, I guess I'll go with Visual Studio on this one. I haven't bothered figuring out how to turn the Copilot off on it yet, but let's go create a new project. I just want a console app, C#, standalone. Oh, got it. All project types. I just want console. Thank you. Console still includes analysis tool? Okay, I guess so. Whatever. Sure. I don't care what it is. It's the project will now exist in test temp. Test temp. I can clear it out later. Projects. Okay, that should be happy. Sure, I don't care what it creates it in. Oh, no, I don't want top level statements. I hate the one that does it. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter too much. So here we're going to say int I equals 5. Okay, so first we're going to say if I equals 5, then console.writeLine I equals 5. Okay, so I'm expecting that one to execute. Now I'm also going to put in here else if I is less than 6 or 10. Now, this one I'm not expecting to execute because it's in an else statement, which means it should only execute if this one has not. Oops. But I'm having a theory on this, and maybe I'm just, I need to retrain myself in some basic C# here, despite 20 years of this. I console.writeLine I is less than 20, sure. And then put another else if. I is less than 30. See, I would expect that this one's not going to execute either because it's another else statement leading off of the chain. But what I'm questioning on is if this one didn't get executed, does that mean it's the else leads off of this one and not off of the chain? That if I've always made the assumption that if I have multiple sets of if statements chained off of else's, that the first time I have to go into an else, that all the rest of the if statements immediately that are connected to it will fail. They won't execute. So on this one, we're going to put in a console.writeLine. Sure. Let's put in another console line. Done. And play it. I should only get 3 lines out of here. 2 basic lines and 1 conditional. Maybe I won't get anything. How much processing power does it take to complete a Boolean statement? Or what? Is this running? What's it doing? Did it run inside of here? It just brought up this terminal. It didn't print. What? Yeah, it printed nothing. Stop. all of Visual Studio just crashed. Close that. Okay, let's try it once more without debugging. Okay. All right, good. This acted exactly like I expected it to. So it acted exactly like I expected it to, which means that in my other code, where I have if, else if, else if, else if, these other else ifs should not have executed if this one executed. Current character was 0. The other one lit up. However, what if this one is not the case? What if it is making it to this one? Because the last character and current character were different, so the previous character got released. Okay, let's just for this seems like it might be the most logical case of what could be happening here. So character was up and character was up. That still shouldn't be the same thing. Last character was up has been changing. The problem that I'm running to is character up. So char up should be changing, and it's not. It only changes in this condition and this condition. But I depend on character up down here to decide if I release the character, then I will move the node to this location. Oh, I don't want that to be the case for this one, for node move. I want char still down. That one should just be char down. Whatever, that's a minor thing to change. Okay, but whatever the case, the character up, when it has the CU colon in front of it, is always empty. It is always empty. In fact, let's just have it print the actual value instead of this and see. It should end up printing zeros all the time. I'm going to put another debug log in here. Let's put the debug log in here and actually put it here and say CU and CU set to character up. So this is the point where I should be setting the character up for when we get this anyway. CU set to, and we'll call this one 1, and the other one 2. Now I need to go back into here and let's see which one is actually being executed. I should get one of these debug logs to set. It'd be horrific if I saw both in the same line. All right, so click the object, Control-Shift-B. We've got selection tools in here. Now let's press V. Okay. Set to 1. 118, that's the code, yeah. So now check this out. CU was set to 118. CU was set to 118, but there is no CU. Do we have something that does an early exit? Current character 0. If the current character is 0, it exits. It doesn't do the raycast anymore. It doesn't set the designer positions. This line. The other ones never get executed at all. Okay. That one goes away. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and I was putting in a comment here. Let's get rid of that too. Delete. Hopefully, my code should be working and much happier. Did I select the right thing? Yeah, I did. Good. All right. Control Shift V. Now, when I'm over here, this is still going to be printing stuff. Let's go to V first. V. Hey. Control Shift B. All right. And now V selects different ones. All right. Selection is working. Now I want to connect these two nodes, but the objective of what I was trying to do with the designer code is that C is what connects it. When I press C, that connects it. However, when I hold down C, I don't want it to connect it yet. I want it to highlight what I'm connecting the currently selected one to. No, that's still... No. Oh, undoes. Undo never worked. Undo should have been in here as well. Okay. So I am getting the CU states, right? CU0, CU118. I am getting the debug or the data that I was expecting in here now. That also means I don't need these ones. Get rid of those. And that one. Okay. So now character up. On character up, it should be triggering node connect. But on character, when we're pressing C, but we're still holding the character down, it should be node highlight. The connect should not have executed during that phase. Okay, so let's check this out. The next item that's in here. So what should have been happening is we would have been getting zeros between these. So this one would execute to begin with. The current value is 0, meaning we've released a key. Okay, and so now, but the last character shows that we had it, so that was setting that the character was up. So yeah, we release the character, and that should be working. Now, when we release the character, when C equals character up, so when we release character C, we call node connect. Otherwise, if the character is down or still down includes down, then highlight. Then we highlight the node. We don't connect it, we just highlight it. Now, highlight is also a little screwy at the moment, but it should still work. So highlight from the letter C. Let's return to the code, or to the game. All right, so I've got this one. Control Shift B. So we just got this one selected right now. And I want to break the connection with this one. Now to remove a connection between this node and the cursor, then that one is N. It removed it instantly. It removed it when I pressed character down. Now over in here, N is supposed to highlight when the character is still down, and when I do character up is when it's supposed to switch over. So let's put in here debug.log And this one is, let's just enter the key. That one is character, care up. Designer, yeah. Lowercase designer dot debugger dot character up. I would like it if IntelliSense would also include when you are typing inside of a particular class or that function, or the whole class would be fine, that it takes a look at what other variables you've accessed. And if I start typing in CHA, I would like to see the whole chain for designer.debugging.careUp show, not just the one that I am currently inside of, particularly if I haven't included something beforehand, like an initial breadcrumbs line, like designer dot. All right. Now, I'm going to press and hold down C. Not C. That makes a connection. I'm going to do that with N. With my mouse over this one and this one selected, that means when I press N, it's supposed to first have the care down or still down, which means it should be highlighting this, which shows up as a little reddish purple circle, about half the size of the current one. But then, and it shouldn't, I should not get a character up. Oh, let's use V. I can do V and see what the character up. So I'm pressing this. We got V showing up. Wait a minute. Look at this. V, I'm currently holding down V. I have not let it go yet. The count is still going up. Now, let's take a look at what that line was. 492. We were logging character up. That indicates that the character was released. That is broken. Do I ever set the current character? Current character should only be set right there. Current character, we're reading current character multiple times. Okay, now character up. Character up to begin with, I set this to 0, that nothing's happening with it when we are getting to the start of this. I initialize that data. All right. So this suggests that character up gets a value. So that can only happen in 2 places. If the last character does not equal the current character, and if the current character is 0, so either one of these, but in either case, the 2 values are different. It shouldn't be happening when I'm holding the values down. So if the 2 values are the same, last character and this character, then I get character still down. Let's change this. Let's go to character still down. There. And we're going to change this to character still down. Let's see what character is still held down, if that equals anything at all. So character still down goes to the current character. All right. Select this, Control Shift B, and now V. It is being set here. So I can see that V is being selected for character still down. That's what I was expecting. Now, what should not be happening is it should not be set to character is still up. So if I do this, Control C, VV. So CSD, and let's make it 2 lines. Plus \n plus there. No, leave those ones. So this is the debug line before it actually executes it. So this one is character still down, and then let's change it to CU. And this one is going to be pair up. Let's return to Unity. Okay, I need this on 2 lines now. Show me. Log entry 2 lines. What? Where's CU? Okay, oh, this is the old stuff. For whatever reason, it's clear. Select this, Control Shift B. There, we got the object selected. Now I'm going to press B. Okay, I'm holding B down right now. What was B anyway? Remove selected node. Doesn't even look like it's removed the selected node because that only happens on character up. But look, character up. Character up is not being set at all. Character up is empty. I let it go. I never got a character up. All right, let's go to V. So character up is not being set at all here. When I try to look at those items together. Okay, so now let's remove the connection, which is, what is this one? N. Now, if I hold N, it also says that character up, the CU statement, is nothing's happening with it, that it's empty. I never get a CSD set to N or a CD. I'm not checking character down. Okay, let's go back to this. The only 2 things that respond to N are these 2, which is the node remove connection, which happens on character up, and character still down when it's set to this. Now, when looking at this, character still down indicated that N was still down, and that should be node highlight. Okay, so CSD was N, CU showed nothing ever. When I did a debug log and I just had it show character up kept showing me content. Control KC. Let's check that. Just for that weird case, debug.log. And I want it to do this one. Because this kept showing me. This was one of the first analysis checks I was doing on this, unless I made a change to this. But okay, so Control Shift V, I've got this selected. Now, if I press V, that selects something else. Okay, Control Shift B, and now V there. So we selected the item. Character up showed that I highlighted it once. Now, if I hold the key down, look at that. CU keeps getting marked. CUV. It keeps holding the V key down while I'm holding this down, but that's character up. Okay, so when I'm doing this, every single reaction for on-scene GUI is printing that I have that character held up right now. But if I put the other debug log line in, then I don't get any of this. Wait a second. What else do I have going on in here? Could not create custom UI. Okay, that I don't care about that. I also have 2,180 empty CUs. Let's clear this. Let me watch the other one too. Yeah, CU empty is being filled. Now let's change the line. Select that, Control Shift B. And now V, I'm holding the button down. Okay, we get lots of empty ones. We get lots of empty ones, and that's happening because the on GUI update keeps getting triggered. Got it. On scene GUI is the cause of this. So the function on scene GUI from running from the editor gets executed multiple times because of the way the classic editor system was being run. This is an editor issue. So inside of here, this should be in the update. None of this needs to happen outside of the update. Okay. Oh my God. Wow, that was horrible. Okay. Control X. It worked when it always responded to the first time, but then I would get repeat things. I wonder if that means that when I was adding nodes, it would add like 100 nodes to the same position. And if that's the case, I might have some really messed up code in there. No, but because I would add it and maybe it had a check in there for position. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Let's go find our update. So within our update, that does our draw update. We're going to do our key reactions. Introduce variable. No. Control dot. Create method. Paste code. Fix references. None of it is designer. And what's weird is that when it's executing it, it doesn't pass in character updates every single time. So the key event ends up being empty, and that's because it gets executed multiple times. And so it just runs it the first time, but the rest of it, Or the last time? No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know how that stuff works on there. Bar transform equals transform? I don't need a transform. Okay. I suppose I could have done a find replace. All right, I do need that constant. Let's get rid of that. Control X. And we're going to do this in update here. So right before it, we'll add the constant for now. That's fine. What do we got inside of here? L case, constant or 20. Key updates, and this one should only react if we are in the editor and if the object is selected. So let's do that. If editor dot if application dot is playing is editor and selection dot active object equals this. Then we get key reactions and update. Both of these. Yeah, both. So in that case, let's put that down here. And we're going to drag this up there. Okay. Now, theoretically, that should all work. There. Okay, nothing's showing. I hit Control Shift B. There's nothing in here. Object not set to instance of object. What is that? That one is line 322. This one. Object not set. I'm seeing the scene. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Oh, it's doing a fresh compilation. Well, I just moved an object value. Clear, select Control Shift B. Okay, I definitely have an error here on 322. So 322, we get the event. There is no event. That's because I'm happening inside of update. Is that what the case is? Because it's not in the editor? All right, in that case, then the scene needs an event handler. So let's put this up here. Create empty event. And this one, since there's no UI, that's going to add it later. But let's just put it up here anyway. So, oh yeah, inside of here. That one is event system. Thank you. What is this code? What is this from? Unity Engine. Yeah, okay, that's what I was expecting. Now, clear. Let's try this again. Control Shift B. Object instance not set. I assume that that's this one right here. So now let's run it. I should get my little debug code lines up. There we go. It's got this one, and that is not available. Now it is. Now we're going to go inside of here. Okay. So event.current null. Current event equals null. This one is only going to react when there actually is an event, but the other one always gave me an event even if it was marked as a character 0. And I'm assuming that's because the system would execute it that way, or when it was doing the on-scene GUI. Okay, I need to make a change to this. Let's go to just a search. Unity C# event on scene GUI gets event dot current never null. I need event dot current in update. It keeps coming back null. Event.current is null reference. Yep, event.current doesn't say where. Mdocs event. It will always be null outside of on GUI. And I can't just take this when it's at any point in time and pass it back into there. Okay. Always be null. So I can't do this one in the UI, and I can't do it outside of the UI. How do I react to... All right. Unity, C#, how to react to the user pressing and releasing keys in the editor for a design tool. Okay, let's get the size of this up a bit. I don't want it in the editor window. Does it have to be in the editor window? Okay, keyboard events. Are you just telling me this off of input? Wait a minute. Key down events and key code. Key down event, but how do I get this? Show me the full sample. On enable root key mono behavior. Okay. Keyboard event test. Key down EV. On key down, on key up. Okay, so I'm going to be changing some of my character code to switch over to this method. Now that that one's what I want to do. Oh, all right. So that's inside of the code. Where is my main if statements? Not up there. Okay, here it is, key reactions. So instead, I'm going to be using the actual system for it, the way Unity more or less intended. So in this case, requires component UI document. That doesn't seem right. No, that's not right. Got it. That's just the example. I think. I really hope so. I hope I don't need to have a UI document in order for it to react to the keys. Okay, so now I do need a couple key up event, key down event. Anything special on those ones? No, it's just void on key. Is this really old? This is 6. How about 6.4? Okay, it's still valid in 6.4. That's still associated with the mono behavior. To a game object with a valid UI document. Okay, so this is based within the UI toolkit. Unity, C# on key down. Yeah, but I don't want that one. I guess I could actually react to the triggers for this one. Well, let's check this. To begin with, we're just going to go up to here and say not public, if input dot get key down. This should be the frame that it went down. Yeah. Key code z debug log z plus. The other one will be a z minus, and that will be for get key up. Oh, the other one should be key up. This one should be key down. And the other two pieces of code, Control KC, will not be executed at all at this time. So I'm just looking at the character Z. Now before, I was expecting this to fail because I'm using the new input system. Let's give it a shot. Time. It's currently 1:45. Where's Unity? Okay, what? The debug. It's still sitting in debug. Stop. Okay, now let's go back to Unity. All right, you are trying to read the input using the Unity class, but you cannot. Blah, blah, blah. But you have switched active input handling to the input manager and then player settings. That's what I thought. Okay, so where was the... That's the old one. Okay, so I need to create separate static events for each one of these. Okay, let's do that. I'm also, so the AI came up as the first result in there. Um, since I'm going to code that I'm going to be able to test right away, I'm going to try that out and see what happens. All right, so let's put a line up here. Public and what is that one? Public static event action. Public static event action. And then the action is what? Key code? Key code. Oh, it's just doing an on check and it's doing an in. No, that's still not it. It's still dependent on using input in this. Using Unity's new input system. Yes, I just want key inputs from this. Space action. Do I have to put in button presses for every single letter on the keyboard? And does this run? Does Unity's new input system? Should I use Unity's new input system for editor keys? Editor key detection. No, I want editor keys. Okay, you did a horrible job of doing this one. So let's go to here. Settings. Let's drag this one out to here. There. So I don't tend to like to use AI much, but sometimes if I'm getting stuck on something for a while and I want to find out, I'm going to use AI to first check it. And that's after I've done some analysis myself. Okay. So first off, the short answer is no. You should not use a new input system for most editor-only key detection tasks. Like custom editor windows, the event system is correct. And purpose-built tool, okay. But it does this in the editor window. On GUI. That's not what I want. One of the reasons that I needed this for the on scene GUI is because I needed this to respond to when the scene changes. Okay, I don't care. Can I turn on input with this one? Can I turn on input with the new input system in Unity? So I can still react to input dot on key down in the editor. Okay. Yeah. To do this, you need to enable the new backends in the project settings. Come back here under player setting, under the player section. All right. Let's get rid of this. This was going the wrong direction for me. Let's turn on the input. handler. That one's going to be back inside of here, which has to recompile again. Control Shift P. Oh wait, that starts it. Okay, it did not. Oh, duh. Player down here. Okay, what was the setting it needed? Project settings under the player section, yes. Enable the new backends in the. Okay, let's find something else. Other settings under configuration. All right, so other settings under configuration. So there's rendering. What's the name of the setting? Active input handling. Okay. There we go. Active input handling, new package, both. Thank you. Apply. The Unity editor must be restarted. Okay. So all of this was to try to improve the state of how I was reacting, and I found some conditions where the old UI system did not work well for it. Now, there is a reasonable chance I could have resolved it in that case, but the rabbit hole I was going down was leading me towards my current, or leading me towards just trying to follow more modern standards and approach that, which is doable, but I'm not sure how to react to that in the editor. I'm guessing I could tie into those character states, those event states, but typically I'm attaching to those event states during start, not awake. And in start doesn't happen during the editor mode. At least I'm really sure it doesn't. All right. So now Control Shift B. I've got that selected, and now I'm going to hit Z. Nothing is happening on Z. Did I not put a debug log in? Okay. In Visual Studio, we normally have an option when we select a class that I can then click up here and say where it is that I want to go. There's like a drop down to indicate which class in the file, which and which method or which member of the file that you're looking at, or of the class. I don't see that option inside of here, and I'm wondering if there's a way to do it. Either way, during here, we've got the input, and that's supposed to be happening during update. Now, in this one, I don't expect the update to run during gameplay. However, it could, but I have to rebake the data. So execute in edit mode. That should be running. I should be getting an update call in here. Which means that the update should be running. Control F update. Log check Z. Okay, so this is happening on Traffic Designer. Do I have an error in this class or something? No, I just have warnings. Why is this one in red? Let's just close that. Okay, what's the error, the warnings? Is it because I have something unsafe in here? Why would that matter? Does it mark it red because it's unsafe? Let's go find out. Writer marks a file tab in red text. What does that mean? It means there are errors. When there are no errors. It will also do it if the item is not currently tracked in source control, which I created this class here, and so it's complaining to me about that. Okay, where's this one? Wait, really? Does it have a thing up here? Open in terminal. Thank you. Okay, fine. In PowerShell, let's go to get add dot. Okay, I don't care about that. That's fine. Now it's happy. Okay. All right. Position normal. That was just a minor thing. So it was it wasn't because it was unsafe. It was because it wasn't in Git. It indicated it had some issue with it, but it didn't tell me what. I wonder if it has other things it'll mark it red for. Because right now it was check over here for errors, none. Check over. Then I had unsafe, which happened to have been a keyword, and then I was thinking it was showing me that hey, this is unsafe. There's something dangerous about this class. Ooh, unsafe. Yeah, well, I guess unsafe can still be unsafe. All right, designer traffic data, time check, 2 o'clock. I'm not using traffic data. I don't care about it. I'm looking at traffic designer. I want the Z step. Now, back into Unity. It checks Z continuously. Look at this. Check Z is getting called out in there. But that's all it checks. It only checks Z. It never executes these lines. Input.get key up. Okay, so let's go to this one. Is that because something else took the code? Okay, let's do another search. Unity. I'm trying. Unity C#, uh, editor tool, custom editor tool, reacting to react to key presses and releases. Okay, I'm just going to search for that and see what comes up with as a suggestion. Custom editor window. I don't want a custom editor window. Manual keyboard events, key presses, capturing key presses in the new system. I have both of those activated, but input. What just happened with my code? Oh, I just lost a monitor. All right, did I get that back? Yes. Go back into Unity, make sure that Traffic Designer is selected, and then press Z. Z has no reaction. Okay, at this point, I need another developer working with me on this, which sadly I'm going to go over to. Let's see, where is it? I'll use DeepSeek. Now with DeepSeek, I have the data turned off. I don't want it to learn off of me. But I doubt any of the AI systems listen to that anyway. In this case, it's a question that I'm trying to figure out the answer to, and I feel like I've spent sufficient time to justify switching over to this temporarily. I don't like using AI as my default go-to. I mean, there's certainly like moral implications, environmental implications that relate to it, but it's even without that stuff, the more you depend on it, the less you tend to be able to work out the details up here. And I've been finding that the more I started to depend on it in daily work, that I lost my ability to actually do more with it. And so I've been getting back in the habit of doing more code directly to make sure that I can solve this stuff. So there's certainly points where it's a heck of a lot easier to have it produce something and to check through what it did. But then I don't actually own the code. Like if you let it create a class for you and copy that over, that feature is not yours. That's the way the laws work on it right now. What the way the laws work on it is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, because also there's not a single legally trained AI where I've shown an evidence stack on that before. Okay, never mind. All right, so for now, I'm creating an editing tool in Unity C#. During the update, I check for input.get key up keycode.z, and it never returns true. I have another debug line in there which does get called. Hey, what about a key that doesn't have any interaction on it? Let's do this. Well, let's just do it this way. Control C and Control paste it there. Key code and left bracket, this one. Perfect. Let's see if we get a left bracket. Left bracket shouldn't be any hotkey in here. All right. So now we've got this one, and my mouse is over here. I'm going to press left bracket. I get more update events, but I get no key events. Now I have to scroll all the way back up to the top. Do I have this in here? No, I don't. So up here we got designer. I have another debug line in there which does get called during the update. Proving update every frame. This is running in editor without being in gameplay. The mono behavior has this attribute. Why does the input never react here? Classic Unity gotcha. Yes. And I haven't had to face this in a long time. So what? Okay, so inside of this one, it wants me to create the editor window. And it wants me to do it on GUI. Okay, so on GUI has to execute multiple times, correct? Which means sometimes the event will have empty data and other times multiple times for a single draw when it finds the older UI has to update sizing issues, correct? Doesn't that mean that the on GUI code gets called multiple times? Is called multiple times per frame. Okay. Yeah. Got it. So we repaint it. So when you press Z, on GUI is called layout. On GUI is called for key up. Okay, so I need to look at the particular events that happen inside of there and then tie this data back into the editor. And then the update can trigger and respond to this. Okay, so what's this one? This is fine, it only runs once. It's logged 3 times in the frame. We need to check the states to see what was going on there. One of the problems I was running into before with it is it was never doing the proper debug log. The character was always coming back empty. But let's test this again because I'm here and I need to fix it now. So On scene GUI, let's just switch that to on GUI. Delete. On GUI. On GUI is for editor window. On scene is for editor. Editor window. All right. Your example uses an editor window with on GUI. I'm using editor, not editor window, as this is for a scene, as this is for scene tooling. So, which I assume means I need to use on scene GUI, comma, not on GUI. I also assume this will have the same issues with being called multiple times. And so I need to check the event type. Okay, so let's do a check here. On scene GUI, we got the designer. I'm just going to say, put some debug log points in here. Stop it. No, whatever. If event.current, wait, what? Event dot, I've never reacted to multiple sets of events from here. I'm going to leave that be for now. Event.current dot type. What was the general function nature of this? Event type. Current dot event type. Oh, got it. E dot type equals event type dot key down. Okay, now inside of here, let's put a couple debug logs. Debug.log key code key down now. Oh, and if I'm going to put in the character code, I can just put it on the same one. And this one will be events.current.character.keycode. And see if it reacts to key code. I was doing an earlier test with this and found that the key code and the error code, or the key code and the character were always null inside of event. Wait a minute. Wasn't my code reacting to that? And yeah, it was the fact that it was reacting to it multiple times. Okay. So theoretically, this should work. And when I press a character key in here, I should get character code Z. Oh, wrong one. Traffic designer Z. I got check Z to show up. On scene GUI. Current key code key type equals key down event. That one should have happened. Let's check some other keys while we're in here. So key designer, or traffic designer. Oh, not those ones. In here. Okay, I'm not getting any debug logs to happen at all. Let's trigger this one again just to make sure we actually get anything happening. Control C. Debug log event on scene GUI, comma, event, colon, event type current. Can I just print that? Let's see if we get an on GUI event to show up. On scene GUI. Lots of them on GUI event. Move, mouse move. Okay. Now, what if I press a key? Z. Nothing. Nothing. I click over here. That was it. The C within the scene UI. No, that's not what I want. Control Shift B. We select the item. Okay, we've got it selected. We are in the scene. That was a hotkey trick. That reason I had to add the hotkey. Now we press Z. Key down Z. We got a key down event. Okay, so the problem I was getting is that I was typing and I needed the active focus to be in the scene. So it was multiple sets of steps that needed to happen here. So the Control Shift B, that this one, Control Shift B, use traffic system. That finds the traffic designer, if it exists, and gives it focus. So we select it. We also select the active scene. So we set the selection to the correct object. We check the scene views, and we're going to the first scene view in here. We tell it to focus, so that gives focus to it. And traffic and focus, V2 select a node, comma, help in the inspector. Hotkey list in the inspector. Perfect. Okay, so that selects it. I don't need, this is in the on inspector GUI. I'm not doing a bake inside of here. That deals with the baking of the data. Now in this one, we've got a current reaction type. So we check the current. When I'm looking at here, I see, oh, go back to this for a second. Control Shift B, that selects it. Now I press Z. And I see in here, Control Shift, no, just Z. Oh, I still have collapse on. Turn collapse off. There we go. Z. Okay, Z got called. Check Z, check Z. That was checking Z. That was not the event code itself. Paint layout. What type of event? Layout or paint Z. Let's select something else. Control C. No, Control Shift B. That highlights it. Now I need to press Z. There it is. Okay. Halfway down the list. Key down Z. Key down Z. That happened here. This line got called. Where was that? Key down. Let's just put it in here. Key down, colon. There. Z. Yeah, we are getting the event. It is firing. Excellent. So that's what we want. We don't need anything else for that part. We do need to set the keys. We're basically going to set the current event state. Oh, if I have the event key, I can detect key down, key up. I can do that all here. I don't need the other one inside of it. I was using the character state, which is what was faulty in there. The character would go null when the event was set to empty or set to default data. So that means my code, my data code, this stuff, is going to go back up. Control C, time. 2:24. Still got time. Cut. Now, you scroll down, we're going back to the event code. Yay, it's going back into here. So I'm going to create another function. We're going to call it void after response. Let's call it that. Void post GUI. Change the name later after it makes more, after whatever I put in here makes more sense. Yeah, we got all this stuff. Now we need our designer call out. So first off, we need our designer. That goes here. Control X. Yeah, we'll pass that in there with it. Okay, so insert. That should resolve that stuff. Oh, no, it still needs debugging. So in here, Control C, Control V, dot. Okay, L case moves back up to here. So we're going to go over to here, Control Shift F. L case. There. This one's moving out, Control X, and wait, let's just exit out of this. It doesn't matter which side it's in. And it's just going into the namespace. Wait, I have no namespace in here. Fine, we'll paste this here. Then I'm going to get the namespace, Control C. Error. Is that because of namespace? All right, I can't put that there. Shrink that down, shrink this one down. lcase or is now available again. Node add, this is all designer dot. Control C. All right, so it's going to do the work of already figuring these out. So I need to just rewrite what these event states are. So inside of here, I need to react to that code. The first thing I need to do is we gather a raycast. So we are dealing with particular events that happen. I don't need it to be all events. Key up events, key down events, and key still continuing events. So in here, I'm going to say, we need these fields to already be there, but we don't need to do anything with this if it's not there. So array.sort hits, these can be exposed outside of here. We're going to say public, not public. I'm going to say if, what is this one? If event.current.type equals, and now type, these are, okay, these are just states. They are not flags. How many flags do we have? Over 32. Okay, well, they could have put a double or a long, and then they could have had up to 64 flags in this. But then this case works just fine. Means I do have to do multiple sets of conditional checks. So if it equals key down or event.current.type equals event type dot key up. Now key down should be the key is continuously held down. Let's also check, no, key down, a keyboard key was pressed. Is that per frame? Let's check this. Key down, yeah. Event character to find out event type. Let's go to event type. Event type, mouse down, mouse drag, etc. How about keys? Key down, key hold. Okay, events. Key down, key up. Key was pressed, key was released. Okay, got it. So I need an additional Boolean state to capture whether or not we are still inside. Oh, this could also be happening during a mouse move. Okay, mouse move. Oh, let's trigger that one. Or event.current.type equals event type dot mouse move. All right, so if the mouse moves, if any of if the key up or key down event occurs, then I'm going to recapture this information because we often need it. Oh, I didn't put my first if in here. Supposed to be right there. Check, which means the rest of this stuff moves up. Tab, done. Okay, so there's the if statement. We grab those additional pieces or those additional records. The last care, previous care, I don't need to store any of that information anymore. I do need this information. But the rest of this can go away. If statements, I don't care about the last characters anymore. Cool. So now we get the data, we set up. Sure. Okay, now Ray over there. Did I just knock out that screen again? I, Okay, so now over here, what do we got? Raycast event. We got these event types. Now this stuff is going to be unhappy. No, it's not unhappy because it uses these values, which I don't care for anymore. We're going to go to F12 and we're going to get rid of these because we don't use them anymore. Now let's see what complaints you have. Lots. All right. So I no longer need to debug those. So now for our states, node add. If, so now we need conditions. So if event.current dot get key down dot type equals key down. I do need a couple of states to be stored in there, but not the ones that were before. So key down there. All right, so the first thing is Z. If Z has been pressed down, then we're going to do node.add. Yeah, that just happens the first time. So this one is if event. You know what? I do so much stuff with event here. Let's shorten it. I don't want to have to keep typing it. So one more item, var event var c equals event.current. Okay. C. If C dot key code equals key code dot z double equals, then add node. This line goes away. Okay, so key code, and now this stuff should get a little bit easier to deal with. The move should be next. All right. So I can also put variables in here as to key down, key up. Whatever, I'll keep these as is for the moment. I don't have mouse move should know if it's in the state, and I'll do a check on those variables when I need to. I'll add them at the end. All right, so the next thing for this one was down. Now, do I have any other downs? Key character down, move, X. Not supposed to be C. So if C.keycode equals keycode dot X, right? Yeah, that was X, care down. And that's the last one for this. Care down designer dot move, node move. Perfect. Okay. That one can go away. These node move. Let's put the comments back with it because that still needs correction. Okay, the rest of it, this node move can go away. I still have ups and I still have held down. So these are my held down events. On this one, let's set this one up to designer dot debugging dot key held down equals c dot key code. All right, control dots, create property, create other. Can I just create a field? Thank you. Key held down as a key code. Perfect. Now let's go find the use of this one, F12. Oh, that's nice. If there's only one use, it takes me straight there instead of giving me a list of search results. That was useful. Okay, so during the key code down event, we do mark which key was held down now. So then we'll also react to char up. So if c.type equals char type okay, c.type key up. So if it's key up, that's the next one. And now we need to check for a few particular keys. N, B, and C. V will keep moving automatically. All right, so first off, C, this is for key up. We're going to say that character code. I'm going to make this the first thing it changes. The second thing down here, take this, Control C, V, is now going, let's put a little bit of space between each of these ones. All right, so key code equal, key held down equals byte 0. So empty key. Oh, does this have a none option? It's key code. So key code dot none. Perfect. Which is probably 0, right? Yeah. Okay. So otherwise, we are inside of here. We're going to do some event checks. If c dot key code equals key code dot c, then this one. Next, let's copy and duplicate this one a few times. So the next one is, we got C, now V, no, B. Okay. The next one is B. And that one goes to node remove. Okay, the last one is N. Okay, that finishes the up. The last one is going to be the other cases, which let's get rid of these ones, delete, delete, and delete. So in this one, we're going to say if c.type equals event type dot mouse move. This is where we're going to replace these ones. So if no, that's this one. This one is C. The next one is V. Next one is B. The last one is N. Okay. That should give us all of our stuff back. Now, the event code, this sets all the designer parts up to do this. Now let's make sure that the designer still has the options in here. So application is active. We're checking for key reactions is no longer a thing that we need to do. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Key codes, we don't need to check these here. And now we're just going to do this check. Control KU to remove those lines. Oh, that's an extra debug log I don't need anymore. Delete. What? Why did that? I went too high up, I guess. All right, we are in editor and the selection is the active object. We draw our update that handles drawing, but it doesn't execute any of the things the execution handles during the editor code. Okay. Let's go back to Unity. All right, Control Shift B. I've got the code. Oh, this needs to be traffic designer. All right, the traffic designer is here. Traffic data. Isn't there a bunch of traffic data in here? Did I accidentally wipe everything out with a continuously held data? Let's go to the traffic data and see what it says. Traffic data. 41 nodes. It's there. Wait, is gizmos. That shouldn't matter. It should be showing all gizmos. Layers. Do we have gizmos? That's not on here. Wait. Wait, nothing is selected. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Let's get rid of that. Traffic designer. Okay, yeah, we have gizmos on. That's in here. Clear this. We don't need that anymore. What's the error? Oh, nothing for this. Check Z. What's... Okay, that's traffic designer 313. There's nothing at line 313. Is this not saved? It still says it's happening at line 313. Hey, you, hot reload, do your thing. Okay, we have an error. Got it. Thank you. Start hot reload while we're here too. Okay, so there was an exception in the code, and so we still had faulty state in there from the older stuff. Right now, it should all be drawing, so let's go into here and hit Control-Shift-B. Okay, there's our lines, and we were having issue with these before. They're still kind of choppy using A-line at the particular points that we're using them, but we'll see how well that continues to work. All right, so in here, I need to, let's go with V. I'm still getting key code presses. What does it say this is on? 447. 447. Control F. debug dot. Don't care. Don't care, don't care, don't care. No, I don't care for errors when there's actually something at fault happening here. Okay, no, key down. There we go. This is happening in on-scene GUI. I never call the checks for this stuff. Okay. Post GUI? No, this is all just part of the same thing. So I'm just going to go up here. Remove. It's got another update to do. And that should also get rid of that debug hotkey printing. And it will execute the code because that code is now in the chain of command. Delete. Did you reload? Okay, let's try this. V. It does not appear that you did. Did I not save this? During on-scene GUI, it should be executing this. Okay, so theoretically it executed that. Control-Shift-B. We got the lines. Okay, it's missing an element. Let's go to V. V did nothing. But it is selected how I expect it to be selected. Highlighted and selected are 0. But if I press V, V absolutely should be doing something. Why is it not? Okay, so on mouse move, we're definitely getting that one to happen. On scene GUI, we do an initial check. We're over here seeing if the key is down, key is up, or mouse move events happen, because those ones we will want to know the designer positions for each one. Sometimes mouse move we won't be in a state that we care about. All right, so assuming that that one's in there, we break out of it once we found the point. So let's exit out of this if statement. Next one, if the event type is key down. Now Z is there, V. This one should also have V up here. Oh, not in this one. V, and this one would be node select. That one, Control X. That should be up here. Do we have a V? No. Ah, dang it, wrong one. Z, X, V. Save it, return to Unity. Did you do a hot reload? Finish the constructor of on-scene GUI. That was just now. Okay. So now when I press V, there, I get a new selection. And just holding it down, we can see that the selection moves from based on the light green versus the blue. So there, I can select new objects. Okay, good. Selection is working. The next is movement, holding X down. I can move the object. Yes, okay. Now I should be able to add a new one by pressing Z. Z, I added it and it selected it. Good. If I hold Z down, oh my goodness, that added a whole bunch. I don't want those. I just pressed undo and that undid a lot. What? Control Shift B. Wow. Okay. What is the remove node? I definitely still have a problem there. So no, no. Remove node with B. Okay, the node has to be selected. Oh my God. VB. Okay. VX. We got the one there. Good. Okay, now let's see if we can connect. Holding down the C button should create a highlight to this point, but not actually connect it. Okay, I don't see a highlight happening at all. Highlight index is still set to -1 in the inspector. So the highlight never happened. Letting go, the connection still gets made. Why didn't the highlight happen? That was C. C is up here. Now, if C is held down, it's supposed to be node highlight, F12. Node highlight it sets the the highlight index. And it uses the same function to get the index closest to mouse as we do for node select. So if it works in node select, we should get that index out of it, and it should put the index into highlight index. That never happens. Debug.log highlight request. So I need highlight to work. So the key code was still pressed down, but we were also moving. So now let's go over to here and update just now. Okay, node highlight. Yes, perfect. All right, now for this one we need C, is it? No, V to change connection, yes. X to move C, yes, C is what I want. Okay, C to connect to this one. We have no highlight being set. That absolutely should be set. So now let's try the same thing for remove connection. N should be highlighting. It is not, but it does remove the connection. Highlight never gets called. Highlight so far is I was going to say it was the only one that gets executed when the data is during the move event. So select happens freely. Connection should be doing a highlight. What's B and N? Removals should be doing a highlight, and connect should be doing a highlight. Select works. During the key up, we remove this. Okay, but otherwise we have the event mouse moves. And it's just doing selections, so shouldn't be any issue if we just leave that up. The mouse move. What other states do we have? Let's check the other event types coming in, because maybe something will trigger our attention. So that one is debug.log debug.log c.type. Okay. New update just now. All right. So let's clear the list. And now let's try to do a connection. We've got mouse moves happening continuously. I'm going to try leaving my mouse over here, though, without moving it. And then I'm going to press C. We're getting lots of repaint. We got no character down. It's not capturing C. Oh, it's drawing it, but the scene was not selected. So Control Shift B to get the right item. I'm moving the mouse over. And now I'm going to press C. Key down. It got the key down event. Yes. Wait. Key down event is still going. Clear. Control Shift B. And let's go to collapse. Okay. Control Shift B. And then press C. The key down event keeps getting triggered, even though the object was already marked for that. That's why the event still happens. Okay, got it. So in other words, I need to store this data. I need to store it after Control X, and I need to place it here at the bottom of the key down where we're going to be checking this. And then for each one of these, I also need to put an additional check. And does not equal key code Z. That one goes to X. That one goes to V. Okay, so those will only happen the first time. However, node select can also be called multiple times during. So now that means that when I try creating nodes and dragging it around while I'm holding the create button, it will only create one. Let's test this theory. So inside of here, Control Shift B, so we select it, and now Z creates one, and if I drag it around, we still get lots of them. Okay, recompile. That should have stored the state and not been affected by it. So let's go over to here and go to Control Shift B, and now Z, drag. Okay. And plus C dot key code. Let's get the key code in here. All right, that just finished that one. Now let's start selecting these and removing them. So VB. There's definitely multiple showing up in the exact same positions as well. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Okay. So now let's go to clear and Control Shift B. And now I need, okay, so event key up B. Did we get a key down B? Let's do M. Key down none. Key down gets an M. Event type, key down is getting called multiple times in a row. And sometimes it's marked none. This was one of the reasons why I shifted over to the other key strategy in the first place. Why does it get called? Okay, this is, yeah, why does that one get called? I need to talk to an AI right now because I've been searching for this and not finding any good answer from Unity documentation and not really finding much in the way of other explanations. So, okay. In on-scene GUI, I am capturing the events. However, I have observed a behavior where the event type is being, the event type and key code is being logged, and it shows that the function gets fired repeatedly for key down while the key is held down. But the alarming part is that it is repeatedly called twice each time, once with the key code set to the key and once with the key code set to none. So I watched the count of events for none go up to 690 right alongside the key code for M going to 690. How can I detect when to ignore the event type? There's got to be something in there because this is really screwy. Event propagation system. Yes, I went through this a while ago. Yes, that's nice. Now, the solution, detect and filter consumed events. Consumed, okay. If event type is used, return. Thank you. Oh, okay. Event type is used. If, I won't need the designer either in that case. We just early exit. If event.current.used. How do you check that? Wait, but the event type was keyed down. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Event dot current dot type equals used 12. Unless these are flags, but they put intelligent names on some of them so that we understand that mouse down or mouse down is a combination of mouse action and mouse down and button down or something like that versus keyboard action and keyboard down and key down. So it may be combining those underneath the hood to set those. So if it's used, we're going to return and ignore this. Let's try this again. It had an early exit. I wasn't able to recompile that for just the function recompilation. Okay, whatever. Control Shift V. Now let's check M. No. Key down. Period and none. Oh, I was pressing period? Wait. That's comma M. Key down M. Now look at this. We're also still getting key down none despite the... Where am I setting this one? That gets set there. The top type, if the current type is used. No, that's what I was expecting. We go to current, we go to type, it's used. And then we would exit out of this right away. Control X, we're going to put this up at the top. And I'm going to put this as, make a different type of message there. Do I have any of the debug logs happening in here? Not there. Yeah, this is just the event type statement happening. Because I don't care to debug the event type if it's used. Additionally, where was Traffic System Editor? Yeah, right here. Let's put another one here. If not any of these, then we will also return. Okay. 3:15. I gotta leave in a couple minutes to get my kids. All right. Roll S. Okay, so this should not happen unless it is a key down, key up, or mouse move event. Second off, we should have used, oh, that might actually fix part of it if it's not one of those. No, because we were still getting all those key down detections, so. I wasn't getting a key up though. But, oh, if it was a key down, I'm going to do another thing. If key code, if c dot key code equals key code dot none, return. There's nothing else for it to do here. Okay. Um, yeah, that will probably resolve it for getting the double buttons. Yeah, because what's happening is the key code value, the um, designer.key held down gets set to what the key code was, but it keeps getting set to none on a duplicate call. So that clears this. So even if the execution is still running multiple times, it will clear out the secondary times because it's already held down. That will trigger anything inside of here for things like V or highlight. Should. Oh, yeah. So by the time it gets to this, the key held down, that technically wouldn't run. That's only for a mouse move. Technically, that's the only time it needs to do it. It should be for key down as well. I'm going to put these in key down. Copy them to key down. So this is key down, and we're going to go to this one, V. So V is already in there. Done. Okay. Now C and B are not. So we do want to check to make sure that they were not already placed. So it's only on the first time. Oh, yeah. Or key code c dot key code equals whatever the last one was. Designer.debugging.held down. That escapes this. The fact that I have to, I shouldn't have to do that. But there's got to be some logic behind it. But the fact that they've exposed that layer of logic to what we have to respond to is weird. Kind of weird. I mean, the UI logic versus, okay, they're tying in the UI, the whole system is there. Okay. Yeah, it's not just events, it's the layout, and the layout has to re-trigger this stuff in their previous design. Okay, so these do kind of tie in together. Let's return to here. Now, in this case, if the key codes already were used, then we don't need this check in here anymore. Let's add these in here. And here. All right. Even a minute. Okay. Save it. I've got the event codes that are still going to be notified down here on the screen, but we'll select this, Control Shift B on the console. So the error states will still be executing in there or notifying in there, but my code should no longer care. So first off, Z to create and drag doesn't create a new one. Perfect. So Z, 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 that's what I have to do. Now I can go to B to remove, VB to remove. Okay, excellent. Now we're going to select one, that one, and we're going to say I want to connect these two. So to connect them, I am going to say C. That got the little red circle. It's hard to see, but it's kind of purplish there. Now, if I move it over to this, okay, it moved, it updated, but that updated really slow. The drawing state doesn't update. The drawing state only happens during the updates, not during the on GUI, but these are gizmos. I can put them in the on GUI now. Okay, so C. Oh, I was on that one. So Control Z. Control Z uses the Z character. Okay. V and select this one. B. Get rid of that one. Oh, B was removed the node that I had selected. I meant N. Well, whatever. V and B there. Okay, so I still have some errors to resolve. I need to move that drawing function over into the GUI, and I have to go. Talk to you later.